You look at the African American people. What you will see are a people that, of all the people on the planet, have been the easiest people in time and antiquity to enslave. Nobody, no other people, while there have been enslavement, there have been nation capturing nations. When America came here and took this nation from the American Indians, the Navajo, the Arapaho, the Cherokee, the Blackfoot, all of that, America could not enslave the Indians. They wouldn't do it. They would not be slaves. They would not serve the purpose of slave, not even indentured servants. They wouldn't do it. The American Indians would not. It's been tried in France. It's been tried in India with the class systems. It's been tried with peoples all over. Russia has tried it. Nobody has made a good a slave as black people, the ones on the dark continent of Africa. Of course, they don't call it that anymore. Nobody has been a good a slave as black people. Now, I'm not saying this because I dislike black people. I live in a black skin. I live under, well, I suppose culturally people will identify me as an African American, and I live in a black skin. The name that I have, James Manning, comes from the Irish that lived in South Carolina that gave liberty to my father and my mother. But I live in a black skin. I'm not saying the things about black people because I would want to hurt or harm them or not identify with them. I'm saying it because it's historically true. Search the records. When the Jews went into Egypt to be slaves, the quarters, the living quarters, were not the same as were down in the quarters of the slaves here in America. And there was no intermingling of Pharaoh and his army and his people with the Jewish people. The Jews remained pure-blooded Jews. There was no mixture. There was no miscegenation. And there was equity. There were more of servants indentured than they were slaves. And even the boy Moses was found by Pharaoh's daughter floating down the Nile River. She picked him up. Though he was the son of a slave, she picked him up and brought him to Pharaoh's court, and Pharaoh kept him and treated him like it was his own son. Nobody on the planet Earth has ever been as willing a slave as the so-called black man, the so-called African-American man. Nobody has ever been. And the reason why the black man has served as a good slave, made a good slave, is because of his mentality. Now, my job is to wake him up. My job is to bring the stark truth that has caused him to behave the way he behaves, live the way he lives, kill and cut and lie and cheat and be dependent. My job is to clean all that up, tear all that up, and make him a man, because he's not a man now. Jesse Jackson is not a man. Al Sharpton is not a man.
Oh, wow.
Black leaders, T.D. Jakes is not a man. Barack Hussein Obama is not a man. They're slaves. They still have the slave mentality. Louis Farrakhan is not a man. They're slaves. They're still slaves. They have not yet, if they were men, then black people would not be living, doing, killing, living at the bottom of the world's social register, have died out. Where there was in 1965, there were 40 million blacks, Afro-Americans, or Negroes in America. Now there are only 30 million. 10 million have died. 2 million are in prison because black people have not become men and women yet. They're still slaves. And the very fact that they follow people like Barack Hussein Obama, and you can't show them the truth, that's how they became slaves in the first place. The witch doctors in Africa sold them to the white man, and they refuse to acknowledge it to this very day. Black people still tell that Kunti Kinte lie, that white people came and threw a net on them and caught them one by one in the jungle and put 5,000 of them on a ship at one time. It didn't happen that way. It's a lie, but black people fail to recognize it because a slave never looks at the truth.
Wow.
They sold the Jesse Jacksons, the Al Sharptons, the Barack Hussein Obamas sold black babies into slavery to white slave traders off the west coast of Africa. But to this very day, black people won't acknowledge it. To this very day, black people will not realize they've not built anything. All of their cities are ghettos, filled with crime, laden with darkness and filth when it doesn't have to be that way. Black people could be cleaner, safer, more loyal, more integral. They can be. They don't want to be.
Oh, wow.
They don't want to be. They don't want to be. They enjoy being dependent. They enjoy the lies of the Democratic Party that keeps them dependent. They enjoy hearing somebody say, we'll build a house for you. You don't have to build your own. We'll build a school for you. You don't have to build your own. It's in their hearts. It's a curse. All these groups growing up, white people are the devils, and the Jews, real Jews are the black people. All this confusion, all this prosperity, talking in tongues, blasphemy, Pentecostal, Baptist, Methodist foolishness. Al Sharpton is not a man, he's a slave. Jesse Jackson is not a man, he's a slave. T.D. Jakes is not a man, she's a slave.
She.
Cornel West is not a man, he's a slave.
Oh, wow.
And then you have people like Maya Angelou and Toni Morrison say to you that the first black president was William Jefferson Clinton, even though he's a white man. The slave mentality in the dreadlock wearing Toni Morrison and the dreadlock wearing Maya Angelou wearing their dreadlocks, yet calling the white Bill Clinton a black president. Slave mentality. They're slaves. And needs to stop. And you need to hear the truth. Now you let another slave, Barack Obama, vote. You voted for him, sold your soul to the devil for him. Well, I'm here to deliver the truth. First of all, black people need to repent and need to stand up in mass and say, thank God for the white America. Thank God that he's allowed you, even in slavery, you're brought here. You got a great chance to live in the greatest nation on the planet. You need to start there, and you better not call me an Uncle Tom or an Uncle Ruckus or a porch monkey, because I'm telling you the truth. You're never going to get anywhere until you start praising God for being here in America. Oh, well, otherwise we'll send you down to Haiti or send you over there to Zimbabwe that used to be Rhodesia, which used to be a great nation, or send you over there to South Africa, or to Rwanda, or Uganda with Idi Amin, or Monrovia with Master Sergeant Doe. Stop this foolishness. Black people killing one another. You need to thank God, and you need to open your minds to the truth. And I'm going to tell it.
Wow. He was going hard. You know, at first I was wondering where he was going to go with that, but at the end he kind of started making his point. Like a lot of these people that he named, like Al Sharpton,
over there to them
Jesse Jackson, Cornel West, all these people, they are slaves to their ideologies and their identity and these things that they push. They're not really trying to do the best for black people.
It's like
trying to keep you enslaved in the mind.
That's a good analogy. It's like they the house slaves, right?
They just mentally slaves, I believe he's trying to say.
And then they keeping the Negro slaves outside, which is the community, all intact.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just saying like these people, they peddle these lies and this confusion to black people to keep you mentally enslaved and upset, which in turn keeps you okay with being down, being at the bottom. Like he's saying black people could be better, but they're so enslaved in their mind, they have no desire to be better. They want to blame the problems outwardly, then try to fix them internally because you're so mentally enslaved by these things and these people. And I mean, I think he had a very interesting way of breaking it down, but I think that was ultimately the message. And I think that's a valid message.
I 100% agree. I just never looked at it like this. Like this title, "Blacks Are the Best Slaves," is just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the title is crazy, and I mean, if you look at it at face value, that is an insane title. But I think what he's really trying to say that black people are mentally enslaved. Like we're mentally enslaved to the Democrat Party. We're mentally enslaved to the victimhood. We're mentally enslaved to being okay with living in these poor conditions and being at the bottom. We're mentally enslaved to blaming the problems outwardly rather than looking within. Like, and we have these messengers that peddle slavery to black people, like Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Cornel West, these people that peddle this confusion that confuses people and furthermore continues to push that slave mentality. And then you have black leaders like Maya Angelou, who is like super accomplished civil rights or whatever. I don't really know. I just know she's a prominent figure in the black community. And they called Bill Clinton the first black president. Bill Clinton's a freaking white dude.
I have never heard
That's
that.
ridiculous.
I never heard that either, bro.
Well, I mean, that's obviously before our time. I mean,
That's
Bill
crazy.
Clinton was the president.
But hold on,
when he was
though.
like 2.
In this world right now, what continent, what country are people still enslaved in?
Africa.
Can you
Africa.
name another?
The Middle East, probably. I don't know. It says they are living in modern slavery.
Modern slavery. Modern slavery is probably low income.
All of this, highest rates of modern slavery.
See,
all
modern
this-
slavery doesn't count. I'm talking about real slavery.
Modern slavery encompassing forced labor, forced marriage, and human trafficking. So you mean like forced labor slavery? Like there's different forms of slavery. It says formal
Yeah, sex.
abolition of slavery, but there's various forms of coercion and exploitation that exist in the 21st century. The countries that have the high prevalence include North Korea, Eritrea,
I'm talking about
Marijuana.
beat slavery.
They don't have that.
Our country does have that.
Where?
Africa.
Not on according to this list.
Look it up. What countries are they still beating their slaves? Look it up. I've seen it. So I know they got it.
Old school slavery, the practice of legally owning another person as property, referred to as chattel slavery, is illegal nationwide. But the National Underground Railroad Freedom System says that 20.9 million men, women, children are enslaved. The Arab slave trade, they're
Where's that at?
enslaved by Arabs.
Oh,
Read
wow.
it. You just be looking at pictures. You don't be reading. Reading is fundamental, my brother. Reading is fundamental.
That's crazy. The Arabs are...
Bro, these richer countries exploit poor countries all the time. You know how many countries in Africa are being exploited by a richer nation? Like, don't they like exploit the diamond mines in Africa and then threaten the locals by saying we'll kill you if you try to stop us? That is happening. Africa is the most exploited country, the most exploited continent on the planet, because Africa itself is not a country. Sorry, I misspoke.
Yeah, man, it's just hard to disagree with Pastor Manning here, man.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's not talking about real bonds and chains, but I think, I believe from as I am interpreting it, he's talking about mental slavery, and I think that mental slavery is a real thing.
So y'all believe when Kanye got on the stand, he said slavery was a choice.
I mean, I think that was an interesting way to frame it. I don't really know what his entire argument
That's
was.
what he's saying.
That's
That's
what
what
kind of
he's
way he's
saying.
I
saying.
think that's what he's saying.
On the same level, kind of, yeah.
I think he's just more so saying it still exists, but in the form of mental slavery.
No, he's definitely saying that, but he said that at the beginning also. The Indians, they didn't want to get enslaved. Everybody been through a lot. Jews been through a lot. They still found a way to get a lot of money. So it's just like it looks pretty bad, you know. Just got to be real. It does look bad. I'm trying not to go hard on my rant today, but it does look very, very, very bad. You got to be real. The black community, if you're okay with where you are, if you're in the hood or you're living in a bad situation and you're okay with that, you go to work every day, and then you listen to someone like Al Sharpton, which he's pushing a narrative to keep black people down. I see what he's saying. Black people are literally dealing with mental slavery right
I
now.
got a question. Imagine if black people start killing themselves, would they still have that argument that they're being systematically held down?
Well, I mean, it'd be interesting because we'd be looking at a completely different. We'd be looking at it from a completely different angle. Because if, let's say, there was no crime and we weren't killing each other and aborting babies and things, and we were still progressing at the rate we were before all these things were an issue. I mean, it'd be interesting to see where black people sat on the economic totem pole among races. You know, so maybe
But
not.
what you're trying to say is imaginary. So
Yeah.
It
it's
is
like-
imaginary.
So it's like, you
what
know,
if,
what
coulda,
if?
shoulda, woulda, you know?
It's happening. So it's like, you know, but I still would not give them an excuse. Yellow
Nigga
school
said
bus.
they not. Brother said I wouldn't give them an excuse.
I would not give them an excuse.
You wouldn't say it. Us? Give us an excuse?
No, brother.